Hi, my name is Jason Marshall. I'm the EdTech Services Coordinator at Grantwood AEA in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And this is just a quick screen recording on how you can use Google Docs, Google Forms, and the Autocrat add-on to set up a walkthrough template that you can use on your tablet or personal device as an administrator to do walkthroughs in classrooms. This is a follow-up to the presentation at SAI put on by Bell Plain. So real quick, we'll get started here. A couple things you're going to need. We're going to need a folder. We're going to need a Google Doc, and we're going to need a Google Form. Okay, I've already created right here a folder called 1718 Walkthrough. This is where all of the documentation for each walkthrough is going to get stored. I'm also storing my form and my templates in there. You don't have to, but it just makes it easy to find them. If you don't know how to create a new folder, you just go up to the New button, you click New, and then you create a folder. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, so we do have that new folder, and inside of mine, you're going to find my walkthrough template, my responses, and my form. And I'm going to show you what all those look like. I actually tested it already, so that was a walkthrough document that I put together. So first thing, let's do a template. So this is just a Google Doc. You need to give it a name, and then inside your document, you can put whatever information you want. I kept mine pretty simple just for this example, but you can put as much information as you want into that. As you can see here, it says teacher name, and notice that it's inside these carets. Okay, what those carets do is they anything inside of there is a field that's going to pull in from your form, from the information you're going to gather. So it allows you this to be dynamic. So in a teacher name, it's going to pull in whichever teacher we're doing a walkthrough for. Okay, you can put in static text. That's always going to be there. So this, I was in your classroom today and observed the following. That will always be in this document. And it's also going to pull in whether technology was used or a goal was stated. Okay, and again, you can put in as many fields as you want. They just need to be inside those carets. Okay, here you can see I have a form created. It's called Walkthrough Form 1718. And the first thing I'm doing is I'm using a multiple choice field or multiple choice question to grab the teacher name. So, big Cardinal fan here. You might recognize those names: Ozzie Smith, Willie McGee, Jack Clark. Those are my teacher names. I'm asking a few other questions, also using multiple choice. So, asking about technology use, was a goal stated? And then the last thing I'm doing is I'm grabbing the teacher's email. So I'm populating that, and then I would select that with multiple choice as well. There's probably a way that we could automatically pick the teacher's name and then have it generate the email, but for simplicity's sake, this is how I'm doing it. If you will remember from the presentation, I did suggest, since you're using a tablet or a phone likely to do these walkthroughs, is that you should use the multiple choice buttons and not use a drop-down list. I think that's going to be cumbersome. You can use fields where you want to just put in a paragraph or type some text in. You can definitely pull those in. You could also use checkboxes. There's multiple types of information that you could pull into this. I also wonder if you could possibly use a photo, because you could pull that in as a submission, because that is an ability that you can do, is upload a document. So that could be a possibility for you too. Okay, so once you have your form completed, you're going to go into responses. And in responses, you're going to have this spreadsheet. You need to click on this. Okay, and I'm going to create it. It may already be created for you. If not, I'm going to create mine here. And the spreadsheet is where all your information is going to come through when you do the form. If you're familiar with forms, it shouldn't be anything new. Now, what is different is in this spreadsheet, this is where we're going to use that Autocrat. So add-ons in the spreadsheet is where you're going to get Autocrat. So I'm going to go to add-ons. I already have Autocrat installed. If you don't, you need to go down to get add-ons, and you'll search for Autocrat and install it on your to your device. Okay, so in Autocrat, I'm going to go to Launch. And here's the steps. It just does take a while to get through to when you first launch. You're going to do New Job. This screen seems to take a little while too as you go through. You're going to name this job, so let's just call this Walkthrough Sample 1. Okay, I'm going to go to Next. Okay, this is where we're going to grab that document template. So this is the Google Doc that I showed you earlier. that each teacher is going to get. So I'm going to go from Drive. And what's nice is, since we've recently used this, it should show up near the top of our list. And maybe not. Walkthrough template. There we go. So I'm going to grab that, select it. Okay. It's grabbing the tags out of that. All right, I'm going to say next. And then what this is, this screen matches up the tags in your document to the fields in your spreadsheet. So remember my document, I had teacher name, and I had a technology use, I have goal stated, and then I also had email, but we're not grabbing email here. Okay, so this matches it up to the fields in my spreadsheet. Now, since I use the exact same names and I spelled them all the same, capitalized them the same, it pulled them across and it says, yes, this is probably what you want to tie these to. But if I didn't, or if these were blank, you can just click on this little drop down and you can pick whatever you want in here, okay? And it will tie those together. Notice timestamp was an option. There's timestamp over there. So when you hit submit on that Google form, it's going to put a timestamp in of when you did that. So that's pretty handy. So then you don't have to do the date and time yourself. I know some administrators like to put the period they go in, so that's something you could gather from the form is what period you're doing your walkthroughs, because that might be valuable data for you. Okay, I'm going to hit next, and we want to name these files. So remember, it's going to create a file for each teacher, and it's going to dump it in that walkthrough folder. So here we want this to be unique, so for each walkthrough, so it's a little bit different. So I'm going to use those caret keys again, excuse me. Okay, and I'm going to put the teacher name. So if we're doing that walkthrough for Ozzie Smith, it's going to name this as Ozzie Smith and then space walkthrough and space. And then I want to be even a little more exact because I might do multiple walkthroughs for Ozzie. So I'm going to say caret caret, and I'm going to put in their timestamp. Okay. So if I do a walkthrough at noon for Ozzie, it's going to say Ozzie Smith walkthrough with that timestamp of noon, or whatever timestamp it is I did it. And then if I do Willie McGee 2 hours later, it's going to say Willie McGee walkthrough with the 2 hour later timestamp. Okay. You do want to generate a Google Doc. You want multiple documents. You could do a single doc, and that's just going to be one running doc of all of these walkthroughs. So for some of you, maybe that's something you're interested in doing, but I think most people are wanting the multiple documents. Okay, we're going to go with next. We're going to select a folder. We already have that 1718 walkthrough folder picked, but otherwise you get to choose folder and pick that. So I'm putting all my docs in one folder. This is the screen I kind of talked about in the presentation where if you wanted to, you could create a folder for each teacher that it automatically feeds it into. That's a little more complicated, but that's something you want to do. Definitely something you could play with. So I'm just going to go next. We're not going to do a merge condition, so we're going to skip that. So we're going to go next. We do want to share these docs and send emails. Do I want to share the doc? Yes. Do I want it to be an editable doc? No. I don't want the teacher to edit it. I'm going to say it's only a view-only doc for them. Do I want them to reshare? Nah, I don't think I do. That's up to you, but I don't think I do. And I'm going to send these from a generic no reply address. That's fine. And then here's my email that I'm sending. Okay. So I'm going to send this. And remember, this is why we grab that teacher email. I'm going to send this to teacher email right there. And I'm going to type a subject in. Today's walkthrough. Okay, and just like what we did in that document, we can say teacher name. So we can make this a little more direct to each teacher. I was in and again, you can make this say whatever you want. Again, if you're a Cardinal fan, you'll get this. Okay, so yeah, you can make this say whatever you want. You can put more information in there. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do to customize this. Okay, and you're gonna hit next, and we do want to run on a form trigger, so we're gonna say yes, and it's gonna ask you this question. You're gonna say yes to that. It's gonna update this. Update this. Takes a little bit of time. and we're not going to run on a time trigger. So basically what that would do is you could say, okay, at 9 o'clock every night I want all these to run, but we're just going to hit submit, and that's going to make this run. We're going to save it. And there we go. We're all done. Okay, so to test it, what you could do is go back to that form, and if you click on the eyeball up here on form, the preview button, you're going to actually get a live form. And this is somehow you need to get this to your tablet or phone or whatever you're going to use. What I do is usually just send myself a link, and then just I put the link onto my tablet as a web clip or a shortcut, and then I always have it so I can get to it. But let's just do that. We'll do that walkthrough for Ozzy, and we're going to say yes, technology use was evident. No, there was no goal stated. And I make sure I grab Ozzy's email. I submit it. Okay. If I'm going to Willie's room, I can do the submit another response and do that quick. Okay. And then if I look at my spreadsheet, there we go. We see the Ozzy Smith's information has came through, and it's also going to create one of those letters for us for Ozzy. Okay. So it'll take a little bit here, and then that will populate in that folder, and we should be set. So, any questions? Feel free to catch me. It's my email is jmarshall@gwaea.org. 2 L's in Marshall. And you could on the Grant Wood website, my phone number should be posted as well. So, all right, thanks, and yeah, hopefully this is helpful for you.